Kravitz. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good morning and welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast, Keeneland today for Sunday, October 13th. I'm your host, Howard Kravitz. Thank you very much for joining us the show this morning as we're going to be talking about the late pick 5 at Keeneland today, featured with the Franklin Stakes, 5.5 furlongs on the turf, and a very talented 3-year-old filly from the Charles Appleby Yard, Star of Mystery, who is prepping for the Breeders' Cup turf. The plan is to go there. And I'll tell you what, she's very talented, and I expect her to run very well today. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. After you do that, the notification bell in the top right-hand corner, and smash that like button below the video player. That will send everyone to the HHH Racing Podcast. We greatly appreciate it. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Tip sheet, look below the video player. We've got Breeders' Cup tip sheet information coming up this upcoming week, as the Breeders' Cup is only 3 weeks away. We are getting cranked up and very excited for that. We've got a great website, hhhracingpodcast.com. All right, without further ado, let's get rocking and rolling. Let's bring on today's co-host and the author of the Keeneland Power Picks tip sheet from the great state of Maryland, and apparently getting ready for his Chargers to hopefully whip some butt today, Mr. Pete Visco. Pete, how are we doing today?
I'm great. How's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. Got some mixed feelings. My Bears are off to a great start in London. They're up 14-3 after
nothing wrong with that.
Awful in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game. How do you start off the game with a penalty when you are? They got a legal procedure penalty receiving a kickoff. This dynamic.
That's a first,
I don't.
Right?
Can we just go back to regular kickoffs, man? This dynamic kickoff is not doing it for me, Pete. But anyway, Bears off to a good start yesterday. Not the greatest day for me, I have to admit. Power picks, I took some shots, didn't quite work out. Splashy horse. I have a small ownership piece up with the Delphi, lost by an inch at 3-5. She just doesn't want to win. Gem 10 actually ran pretty well, a good third with an 84 buyer. But Keeneland picks, other than some obvious choices, didn't quite work out. I know you put out a really good ticket. Keepsake just could not get out of the gate, man, and closed like an absolute train. And I saw you had surface to air on your ticket at like 20-1. So
I did
nice
$50
ticket, man.
horse.
Just didn't work out for either
man,
one of us yesterday.
I was so pissed, man. That was that's a rough one. Well, it wouldn't have been so bad. And when you lose, it's fine. I mean, we lose all the time. But when you lose on one like that, with your single and they break, and as soon as you watch the break, you're like, I'm screwed. Way too far back. But what are you going to do? On to the next day.
You know, when I lose pick 5 that I'm alive to, by one leg, I always look back. I looked at your ticket. I thought it was well constructed. Any regrets on going 3 deep in leg 1, not going deeper in the main race? I guess the only you could have done wrong, I suppose.
No, I guess not. And I actually thought the horse that I really liked in the first leg, I think, was Bourbon Heist, who we talked about on the show. And I thought that horse ran great. It was just, I didn't understand the ride. It was just another one that was too far back, but was closing like a freight train late. Yeah. And they let, what was it? Which Mischief was it? Giant Mischief got away. Yeah. And there, you weren't running that horse down when you let him get away like that. But no, I didn't, because I don't think I would have had the 12 anyway. To beat Keepsake. I think that was sort of my fourth choice or so.
Yeah, that was my fourth choice too. I just, man, the 4 and 6 both didn't break in that race, and so that's why I had the 9 also. Look, it's horse racing; it's the way it goes. Keeneland's a tough game. I think Bourbon Heist Pete would love to have every race at Keeneland because he runs really well there.
Just really good there.
He closed well. I wonder if you'd use him back at Churchill. He probably, I don't know if he would run as well, and he's gonna be betting next time out, probably, right?
That's true. No, that's true. You gotta keep an eye on that. And I think the only reason that I was more pissed is because it's not often you get a $50 horse.
Yep.
And you lose on another, you lose on a favorite, you have a $50, and it wasn't an all button $50 horse. Like it was an actual horse that I liked. So that was it. But we could complain all day. Let's get on to the good stuff today.
Let's do that. Real quick, Breeders' Cup news. Subsanador is out of the Classic. Torpedo Anna worked very well yesterday, and like I mentioned earlier, Star of Mystery, who's running today, Keeneland, is planning on going to the Breeders' Cup in 3 weeks, and she's turned around in 2 weeks. So we'll talk more about Star Mystery later, but she looks awfully tough there in the Franklin. We got a
Yeah.
lot of people in the chat, Pete, real quick. We got Chris Couples here going on his way home from Keeneland. Chris missed you at Keeneland. I'm sure we'll hook up at some point. I know you had a great time there. Let's see. Tom Espinoza's here. He's cheering for the Bears. Appreciate that, Tom. TC Markham hit the late pick 5 yesterday. Wow. I don't know if that's at
Nice.
Keeneland, but if you did, congratulations, man. Nice. Pour a little salt in poor Pete's wound. Thanks, TC. Really
I like to. I don't hold any
appreciate that.
grudges when somebody else wins. When our viewers win, I'm still happy.
And why not make me feel bad by having Michael saying that Splashy cost him the pick 5? There we go. Well, everyone's in a great mood this morning, Pete. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? With the late pick 5 at Keeneland. Here we go. It starts in race 5. Now, there are scratches, Pete, but they have not come out on Equibase, and I didn't write them down, frankly. So, Pete, while I'm talking with the intro, why don't you go ahead and they are in actually.
They are in now. Yeah,
They're on the right
I hadn't
side.
seen them yet. Yeah, I hadn't seen
Yeah,
them
they're
either. So.
1, 8, and 13. Usually they put like a line through the whole thing, but anyway, 1, 8, and 13 are out. This is 16 claimers, mile and a 16th. You're just your ordinary horses that are lunch pails and make money for their owners and trainers all the time. Let me bring up the banners for our picks on the bottom of the screen. There they are. I'm going, whoop. You know what? It was just me yesterday, and I decided not to scroll because that wouldn't make sense. So now I'm going to have to change that each time. I'm going 5, 11, 2. Pete is going 6, 5, 11. Pete, you're going to go with Cosilio, Martinez, and Loveberry. What do you like about the 6 in the opening leg of the pick 5?
Yeah, I thought this was a tough race. We'll get to your opinion as well. I thought this is the one in the sequence where I didn't really have I didn't think there was a standout. So I was looking for something that was maybe a little off the beaten path a bit. And with Casilio, a couple of things I liked. 3 for 5 wins at the distance. So, the distance is no issue. And I only mentioned that with this horse because he's bounced around from distances. He's gone sprinting, he's gone a mile, a little bit over a mile. So he bounces around a bit. So again, he's got like that muddied up form. But if you take away, the sprint races and you just look at the routes, when he's routing, 7 races, 4 wins, 3 seconds. Now, again, these are at Prairie Meadows. The company's a little less. Kelly Martinez isn't a trainer that comes to Keeneland all that often. But my thought was, I looked back at sort of her history here, and she hasn't won. She hasn't shipped to Keeneland. She only shipped 1 horse since like 2021. But my thought was she probably brings a horse over who thinks has a shot. And I looked at the last horse she brought over this year, and the horse turned out to be the favorite. So I'm assuming she only ships when she thinks she has a horse that could step up a bit. So I'm looking at a race where I didn't love anybody else, and I'm looking at this horse thinking, routing this horse is really good. There's some figures that are in the mix. They're basically close enough. I think can work out a good trip. Loveberry's pretty aggressive sometimes. I think he can get this horse right in the mix. And again, in a race where I don't love a ton of horses, I think this is one that we could maybe get a price just because of where he's coming from and sort of Kelly Martinez isn't a big known name. So a lot of that led me to this horse on top.
I like the thinking. At first glance, I thought, boy, this is wide open. And then I just looked at a bunch of horses, Pete, and I said, I don't like this one. I don't like this one. I don't like this one. And so I end up not going very deep. I have this 6 as a C in this race. I went with the 5, who'll probably be the favorite, even though he's 9-2 morning line. He's run some good races. Canterbury's a decent circuit. Look, I know, it's a smaller track. Not a lot of people follow it. I love the people up there. I've been there several times. It's decent. It's decent racing. That last race is a toss out to me. It was much tougher. They're dropping down. I guess it's similar profile to the 6, right? Coming from a smaller track, but you don't have to come from a big track to win this kind of races. And these trainers, with these kind of horses are looking at the Keeneland book and like, hey, where can we is our horse good enough to run there? It's a $51,000 purse, Pete. I mean, for some of these connections, this is like a freaking stake race practically.
That's big money. Yeah, it's big.
Yeah,
money.
I mean, I think the horses that are shipping are well meant, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But who knows? I'm going to go with Ember. I don't have a real strong opinion in this race. I went with the 11 second, Proven Hope at 12-1. It's not really an IRAD angle. It's more of a trainer switch to Jose D'Angelo angle. And again, this horse has plenty of back numbers and puts IRAD. I realize the 11 hole is a very tricky spot. I don't think I'm getting 12-1, but I'll take IRAD as 6 to 7-1 in a wide open field. You've got this one third, and you actually have got my 5 seconds. So we're thinking very similarly on our,
Well,
your top choice.
I was surprised. It's funny you had the 11 because I was on a similar course with the angle because it's a decent horse right off the claim, D'Angelo, and then gets Irad like you mentioned, and together D'Angelo and Irad. I'm trying to think on dirt. 29% wins, 70% in the money with a jockey change to Irad for D'Angelo. So when I looked at that, I thought, okay, you get the claim, and you're not claiming some big time horse. Like you said, we're not claiming a big time horse that's running a big time race, and you still get Irad. And they've been really successful at that. And at 15-1 or 12-1, sorry, in a field where, again, I don't think there's any world beaters. I like that horse. This was kind of I think this is a good spot for one of those underneath, tri-key box or reverse tri-key, because this is one where if the favorite doesn't win, anybody can win. Or even the favorite, the favorite doesn't even look like a lock. So I think this is a race where the try can blow up. This can blow up your pick 5. This can blow up any. And the cool thing, and I mentioned this in the power picks that I like when it's a 9-race card, is you got that 5th race is the swing race because it closes it's the anchor of the early pick 5. It's the kickoff of the late. So you really want to nail this one down if you're playing both horizontals. And it's a really tough race, which I'm assuming they card it that way on purpose to make this one pretty tough to sit right in the middle. So I think if you can get a bomb like this in there, shoot, you're in good shape in both horizontals.
And then I'll mention, and we'll move on, I don't like when horses have not worked in Kentucky. This 11 does have a long gap in the works. I don't love that, but I'm assuming has been just, jogging consistently because he does have a pretty darn good Keeneland work last week, which I do like quite a bit. And again, IRAD's on. I don't know. It's a wide open race. We'll see, Pete. I don't have any real strong opinions here in race 5. Let's go on to race 6. I'm glad. By the way, I was checking my text. I'm glad you saw my email.
I was sitting there like, didn't this happen? I think this happened last time I was on the.
Yeah, I'll talk to you after the show for 2 seconds about a few things.
Yeah.
I'll explain everything. If you're like, Howard, what are you talking about? Don't worry about it, everyone. Just behind the scenes tech stuff. All right, allowance race. This is the race 6 is the second leg of the all turf pick 3. One of my favorite bets around. Let me go ahead and take this off the screen and put up our picks right now. And again, I'm sorry, got to switch this to a scroll. I'll have to do that every time. Maybe I'll remember to do it one time. We are going with the same horse there. There's $120,000 N1X fillies and mares, 1.5 miles. Rail is out 20 feet, just to keep in mind. We do have some scratches. The 4 and 6 are out. So it's going to be a 9-horse field. I'm going 9, 5, 3, and Pete's going with the same horse in a big field. Wow. 9, 7, 10 for Pete. We're both going with Queen Regent, a British bred for Walsh and Gaffleone. What a combination. 9-2 is actually second choice morning line. I have a feeling, though. Third choice morning line. I have a feeling this one's going to be the favorite, though, Pete.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I thought the 9-2 was maybe a little bit of a pipe dream, but maybe not too far off of that. It's another one where it's a relatively even field at the top. I probably like a lot of the same things you like. You get a horse that came over first time in the U.S. going long like this, who had come off synthetic races recently and gets a win, gets a nice closing win. There was some pace to close into, so that wasn't completely unexpected. It's Kentucky Downs. Sometimes the foreign horses, the European horses take to Kentucky Downs a little better because of the configuration and such.
Good
so you
point.
don't know if that's what moved her forward, but she just looks like a horse that if she can even just replicate that race, I think that fits and puts her on top here. And the one thing I did like too, from a time form standpoint, she seems to be getting a little bit better each race, and she just keeps improving. She only has 9 lifetime starts, so improvement at this point seems logical. And if she can improve a little bit even again, I think it just puts her at the top here. And if we can get anywhere near that price, I think we're in pretty good shape.
She's a bit grindy, but look, there's really no one special in here. You've
Yeah, I
got to
mean, you could
figure.
grind down these horses probably, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure she's gonna be better second time out. Sometimes they're not, though. I mean, she had those cheek pieces on, which were those sort of looks like there's almost like
Yeah,
blinkers, but yeah, I just think, look, she's long-winded. I'm not worried about the distance. Again, I do like the fact she's had 3 works at Turfway after her win, Pete. If she didn't have any works at all, or maybe one soft work, I'd be slightly concerned. But obviously, Walsh wants to keep this one in good condition.
yeah,
By Roaring Lion out of a Rainbow Quest mare, this horse just wants to run all day.
all day.
Relatively lightly raced. Look, she's got upside. It's Qatar racing, blah blah blah. This horse looks pretty formidable to me. I'm just looking to see. I know the 4 and 6 are out. I don't know if that changes the pace complexion because let me just look at it, see if they updated that or not. That no, that can't be right. I don't think that's correct. They have the 8. It must be a different race. They have the 8 on the lead in a fast pace. No,
It doesn't seem, yeah.
no, I don't know if there's a little hitch in our giddy up here. I'm just refreshing it.
No, I think that's
I
right
don't
because
know.
I had that horse, the 8,
Okay,
as the top time form horse, but I
interesting.
don't know on paper. I don't necessarily see that. There isn't
Oh,
a
the
ton of
8. Why was I thinking about our 9? I'm a complete moron. I
Oh,
don't think I'm
okay.
quite awake yet. Okay. Yeah, the 8 will show speed. Okay,
The
well,
speed,
it'll
yeah,
set up
not
for the
like
9 then.
blazing. I don't expect a fast, but the
No.
one thing, mile and a half, you don't always get a ton of pace anyway. And then when you say grindy for the horse we like, I don't mind grindy as much at a mile and a half,
No.
maybe too. So
Why don't you talk a little about Holy Foley for Lynch and Velasquez?
yeah, this one, it's got a win over the course. I like the again the last one coming from Kentucky Downs, which is always, it's hit or miss when a horse runs well there. But if you look 4 back on the screen there, you see at Keeneland going a mile and a half, got a win. So you like to see that, likes the track obviously at this distance. You got the 4-year-old who's been 19 races for a 4-year-old. So this horse is active, but just got the nice lifetime buyer top and lifetime time form top last time. Again, seems to be maybe moving forward a bit, or maybe took to Kentucky Downs. It's one or the other. You're not really sure. I guess we'll have to see. Has also run well with Johnny V up. So you're getting Johnny V again. I sort of like that. And I think the one thing I did like, there's non-stakes level company, which she hasn't been in a bunch of stakes, but if you look back, 3 back was a crappy race, stakes, no Lasix. Now you're getting Lasix back. I think she just sort of fits in this field, and she's 7-2, so that makes sense.
I went with Tea and Conversation. Try to get a little bit of a price here for a second with McCarthy. This horse was going a little bit shorter at Del Mar, but is bred to go longer. Came off a non-effort layoff. I think I'm getting a big price here. 2 things I like: local works and gets Flavian.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that's
nice
very
sometimes.
interesting. Or Flavian. Sorry, Andy Sterling. Flavian. Um, and in a field, Pete, where a lot of horses I just are sort of mad and don't do much for me. I was trying to look for something underneath. This horse did cost $400,000,
Yeah.
and she is bred to go long. So maybe this is just kind of a fresh face angle that can step up. I mean, McCarthy ships her all the way here to Kentucky. And I thought she was a little bit interesting. Number 5 team conversation I'm gonna be using in my pick 5 as a B. There's
I,
others we
I
have
had
here,
that one as a
Pete.
B. I had that one as a B
Yeah.
also, just to mention. The note I had doesn't seem to run as well first off the layoff. So that's what sort of knocked me
Mm-hmm.
from
Yep.
potentially contending as an A to a B. But again, in a field like this and, stretching out where I think the breeding works and you're picking up Pratt, I think there's a lot to move it up. And at 12-1, you're not going to argue. You're not going to nitpick at 12-1. If you're going to
No.
want to include that horse, you include that horse.
Well, I think the first 2 legs I think are very difficult for this pick 5.
Yeah.
To me, I'm gonna spread. I'm not sure I'm playing the pick 5 today. I gotta be honest. I might just play the all turf pick 3. We got look who's here. Noah Maher.
Hey, Noah.
Very windy day in Lexington. How would Noah know? Well, because he lives in Lexington. So, Noah, thanks for joining the show. That is something to bring up, Pete. I'll have to see which way the wind is blowing. It does matter. If anyone thinks it doesn't matter, it absolutely can matter, especially in one turn races. So we'll see. But I appreciate that. No, I'll have to check out the flags and see. And by the way, one of my favorite T-shirts. I got this at the first Breeders' Cup I was at Del Mar in 21. It's the jock with the surfboard.
That's
One of my
awesome. I
favorite.
really like that.
Yeah, I like that shirt a lot. I
I
wear it.
really.
I'll be wearing it in San Diego in a
I
few
can't
weeks.
wear that color. So you have better skin. I've said that color washes me out. So I can't.
Oh,
I got to go
interesting.
with the darker colors. Yes.
Oh,
So I love
wow.
that
Okay.
shirt though. But my wife would
Appreciate
say,
that.
"Don't wear that." By the way, real quick on that last race, nothing important for any hunch players. Like if my dad is watching, for any hunch players, the one Boss Lady Bailey. My prior dog was named Bailey. He passed a few years ago,
Hmm,
but his birthday would have been in 2 days. So for any hunch players, there I looked at that and
interesting.
thought, hey, that's a good one, and it's a 12-1 shot. So in a race that's
Interesting.
crap, sometimes you throw a little hunch play in there and see if that helps you out.
Why not? Listen, nothing wrong with getting some luck. TC Markham talks about Gaffleone and Walsh being very good. Obviously, Siggy is here in the chat. Thoughts on lucky combination? Should be tough on the front. Was that the 8 in that last race, or am I thinking about a different race now?
What am I?
Um,
No, I think
or
that
is
yes,
that
that's the
lucky
three. It's
combination
the
is the
three
3?
horse.
That's the 3. I've got that horse in third, Siggy. So, uh, yeah, I think look, there's a lot of ways you can go. I'm just looking at the race
I
again.
had that horse as an A, so I had that was
Oh,
my. It was actually my fourth horse. The
okay.
3. So good call. Good calls.
Yeah,
I did have a
6-1 Moyne. I'm not sure about early speed, but I liked the 3 because it's Clement, and again, another fresh face angle for me, Pete. Just these horses that have run a bunch of times, I don't know. This
yeah.
is a tricky race. I think you can go a lot of ways there
I
in
actually had
that
a real
race.
funny stat on that one. Clement with IRAD going 10 furlongs and up on the turf, 0 for 14, but 6 for 14 in the money. So I
Okay,
had dug that
so
one up.
maybe he was
Whatever.
underneath.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to race 7. Optional allowance, $100,000 for the claiming tag if you want to be in for the tag. $130,000 purse for the girls, 6.5 furlongs. They're sprinting. It is a relatively small field of 9. No scratches listed. Moorlane favorite is the number 2. Anywho, Sailor Torres. This horse has been entered. I think it was entered last week. I remember seeing this name somewhere. I think it was actually entered in the TCA last week and was also entered in California against Sweet Azteca,
Sweet
who ended up
Azteca.
losing actually and was out of the money. And there was a ridiculous place bridge jumper in that race. Anyway, anywho, they rested her up for this spot, much more realistic. Let's see if we're going with anywho. And no, I did it again, Pete. Gosh darn it. Come on, Howard. I'm trying to remember the scroll. Because I never,
We
it's
don't
rare
do
that
it.
I'm
Yeah,
not
we don't
scrolling.
pop them up. Yes, we don't
I'm
do
going
that.
247. You're going 724. We got the same 3. You're going to try to beat Anywho with Mystic Pleasure, Brissett, Pratt. I thought this one definitely had a shot, especially if the pace heats up, but she's going to get a really comfortable outside stalking trip. The number 7, Mystic Pleasure, Pete.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for Pratt. This horse, I think this horse is going to if you look at the last race on the page there, ran not a bad race, faded a little bit late. Now we're getting the cut back down to 6.5, which seems to be her preferred distance. She seems to like going just a little bit shorter. Brissett uh, is hot at the you see on the screen there again, 36%, 11 starts, 6 in the money, 4 wins. I also like that the horse gets Lasix back, so maybe that moves her forward just a bit. And I think there's some pace. I don't know if you want to bring up the time form real quick. There's some
Sure.
a little bit of pace in here to I think close into it. And this isn't a deep close or anything, but I think she's a horse who can sit off. So yeah, it's not labeled as a hot pace, but there is some speed horses that could at least be up front to make it honest. And again, you have Pratt, who's always super patient when he needs to be. And I think this is the kind of horse who can pass horses since she's done that in the past.
Yeah, I think the break is going to be important for Mystic Pleasure. I don't think Pratt will want to be too far back here with
Agree.
this one. Again, has a local maintenance work. I do like that just to let the horse, get a little experience over the track, even if it's just a slow maintenance work. I chalked out here with any who I just think she's tons the class. I mean, look at she's been
Yeah.
facing. Ceiling Crusher is a nice horse. Lady T, Chismoso, Sweet Azteca twice. I mean, this is a major drop in class from stakes. And I just thought Torres is going to send and wire the field. And if she doesn't, she'll be up close here. I didn't want to get overly creative here. I do have the 4 uppercase, who is a nice horse for Paul Lobo. I don't think is as classy, but has run some big figs, although they've been in slower pace races. My thought here, Pete, though, is this also could be a slower pace race. So with for OXO Equine, and I got the 7. Again, I'm not being real creative in this race, Pete. I think
Neither of us.
this is not the kind of race where you're going to get a price. As I see, the Bears did take a 21-3 lead as we're filming live here Sunday morning, and then Jacksonville just came back and scored a big touchdown, make it 21-10. So the Bears trying to let Jacksonville back in the game. That was not very nice of them. Anyway, my boy Caleb's got 3 touchdowns, looking like a real good quarterback. As
Looks
I know,
awesome.
I digress. But
hey, Keenelan with the last one, former Charger.
Good for him.
Yes, Keenelan
might have been his first touchdown for the Bears, I think.
It is, because he was hurt, so he hasn't gotten a ton of targets this year, but.
Okay.
He's awesome. He had maybe his best year last year, even at a little bit older. So if he can come back into form, I think that'll help Caleb out a bit.
I think so. He's a handy receiver. Let's talk about, speaking of handy, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to hit the scroll. Okay. Speaking of handy, race 8, the Franklin Stakes, 5.5 furlongs on turf for the girls. And there's some very talented girls, some very fast girls in this lone stake race of the day at Keeneland. And obviously, the headline of the day, Pete, as I go and bring up the Aquabase here entries, is the rail horse, the number 1 Star of Mystery, who is a very talented horse for Appleby. And he said yesterday that she is planning going to the Breeders' Cup in 3 weeks, which might seem like a quick turnaround, but really not for this horse. She draws the rail here. I guess I'm okay with that. I don't love it. I think I prefer it to be mid-pack, to be honest, but she's going to save ground. Precious going to have to find a way through. But I mean, if she does, I think she's by far the most likely winner, not only of this race, but of the day, at least in my opinion. There are some scratches to note. The 12, 13, 14, and 16 are out. The number 15 gets in. And the reason why I think that might make a small difference is I think that really hurts the speed horses. So if you like Futures Now and some others, the 15 is an absolute dead send from the 13 hole, Florida bred for Lynch and Alvarado. I don't think can win, but should at least heaten up the pace here. We're not going to get cute. There's no reason to. We're both going with the ones. I'm going 156. Pete is going 165. Pete, as I bring us back on screen, I will say I probably would reverse the 6 and 5 based on the fact that the 15 is in. Some people might say, Howard, that's stupid. That's fine. I've been called much worse. I just think the 15 has to go and is not going to help the 5. That's for sure. Let's take a look at Star Mystery, Pete. This is, I shouldn't say I forgot about her, but, in her Saratoga debut, first time coming from overseas, where she was really good in the UAE. I mean, won a Group 2 in January, then finished second in a Group 3, and then the Alquaz Sprint almost beat a really, really good Asian horse in California Spangle. She's danced a lot of dances here. She's only 3. She lost to Cogburn when Cogburn set that world record, losing by 3 lengths, and then came back and won pretty easily in the quick call. Pete, we both have her. I got to tell you, if she runs her best in a few weeks, I wouldn't completely discount her upsetting Cogburn. I think I almost forgot about her. She's really, really good, Pete.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think Cogburn has been awesome, so we'll have to see what the field shapes up as. But I think she's a super logical contender if she runs well today and goes on to the Breeders' Cup. I agree 100%. I don't think there's not going to be any knocks against this horse. And I think just from a class, from a talent standpoint, from a results standpoint, I think she's right in the mix. And I didn't look at. I meant to check it. I didn't look at the odds checker or any of the overseas boards to see if they have her and see where they have her place. But maybe I'll do that next time you're talking. Just to check it out.
Interesting you asked that, Pete.
You have it up?
Interesting.
Beautiful.
Actually, I don't. But I have. It feels like on Howard. I have the tab up from last time, so I don't want to scroll through it. In
I'll look
time
while
here,
you talk.
Okay.
I think I had not to
See if I
spoil
can
our
find
power
her here.
picks, but I don't think this is a big part of the power picks always. But I had Star of Mystery as the most likely winner of the day. So
how about this, Pete? This is next year's Kentucky Derby.
oh, perfect, perfect. I'm
You
not
can get
sure that
East
helps
Avenue
us
at 14
today.
to 1 and
Yeah,
Chancer at 16. How
I'm
about
not
that?
sure that helps us in this race, but we'll take it anyway in case anybody
It
wants
is
to
sort
put.
of cool though to see
It is
that.
awesome. Yeah, it is awesome.
Let me as
I got
your
it. I
you
got
got
it.
it up.
Oh no, that's the no. How come they don't have it here?
I don't see it right now. All right.
It's
Anyway,
not
well,
on. It's not on. For some reason, it's not on. That's the one of the races they
interesting.
don't actually have.
Oh,
Here
here's
we go.
Breeders'
Turf
Cup. No, they've
Strip.
got to have it. I was in the wrong tab.
I
Oh, I've
got it.
got it right here.
Star
I
of
know it's the
Mystery,
juvenile.
14-1 right
Okay.
now. We
All
have
right.
Cogburn at 9-4. Brad Sell at 7-2. Believing Big Evs, who is
Here we go.
who won the Breeders'
Here we
Cup
go.
last year. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Notorious 10. Star of Mystery 14. I'll tell you what, I like Star of Mystery more than some of these horses in front of her, to be
Yeah.
very honest. So anyway, we're talking about can she win the Breeders' Cup?
Well, let's
Obviously,
let her win today
what we got
first.
today? 4
Yeah.
to 5, Pete. I think maybe.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
4 to 5.
I would imagine. Yeah, it's
Well,
not a
let's talk
bad
about some.
field though. Yeah, it's not a bad field for sure.
No, Future is now. I had second. I'd probably have third. Is really fast, but just doesn't class up. And you can close at Keelan going 5.5. I will say, Pete, that the rails being out does not help Star Mystery, in my opinion. I don't know if it really hurts her that much, but I would prefer the rails be down. That would give her more room to maneuver. I mean, look, it's a surf sprint, man. Crap can happen. And you think this is more of a prep for the Breeders' Cup for her. So I don't think she's going to be like all out to win this race. We've seen stranger things. Number 6, Don't Look Back at All, very likable horse for West Point, who's done very well. Won the Caress with a ridiculously good ride by IRAD, and then went to the Rolling Hills of Kentucky Downs and lost to AG Bull. But AG Bull got completely loose in that race. If the race falls apart or she gets a good trip, I think she can be in the mix.
I think if we can get this price, I don't want to spoil our picks, but I had this exacta. I had the 1-6 exacta as one of the plays on our power picks. I just really like this horse, and I think again, like you said, my note on the 5 was it depends on who draws in terms of what the 5 would do, and I think this 6 with Tyler, who obviously has been fantastic at this meet. I think this 6 horse can work out a really nice trip and has just been in fantastic form. Like you said, that last race, it wasn't even bad. I mean, AG Bullet went on after that, I think, to run ran 4th. I forget which race. I'm going to look real quick. In the First Lady, ran a nice 4th to Gina Romanica, Chili Flag. So that was a pretty quality horse. So I really like that 6. And I think if we get anywhere near the 8-1, I sort of like playing around with that exacta a bit.
A few other horses I know we don't have in our picks. Pandora's Gift almost beat Roses for Deborah, who is also in this race. Those two are very likable fillies. Again, we need to fill out our tries and supers here, Pete. So we shouldn't just talk about the quote unquote obvious horses. Frosted Dawn is a horse that actually was competing in Star of Mystery and beat Star of Mystery in March, Pete. Again, Frosted Dawn, the 7, who's a big price at Billy Lonane, who rode yesterday, Soprano, who ran fine. I think we were both right. She ran well, but I think I was right in the fact that she didn't run as well as she could have. Although the winner
it didn't matter.
was
It didn't matter.
Was
she
just
feels pretty.
She feels
She
pretty.
feels
Wow.
pretty.
Did she feel
I guess
pretty
those
yesterday?
blinkers might have helped a little bit, huh?
Whoa.
I don't know if that's what it was, but
she
definitely finished for once.
Completely freaked. My Kandala pick was not good, obviously. Anyway, there's others to go with here. I'll just show the 15 who Pete, this horse has to go. So
yeah,
I don't know. Look, it's Star of Mystery is most likely going to win, but underneath, I'm going to be price shopping. To fill out if you play this race. I think you can make some money if you just cold punch and exact a Star of Mystery over maybe not the 5 and the 6. You can get it at 10-1, 12-1 exacta, right?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, we always want to say, you don't have to just because there's a low-priced horse doesn't mean you can't make money on the race. And especially this is a big field, so it's not like she's going to be 4 to 5 with only 5 other horses, and then everybody else is going to be even out. If you do like some prices, I think there's money to be made. Cold punch exacta, not cold punch a try, but you can go her over like 2 and 2 or something, and sort of bang that denomination. I think there's definitely ways to make money.
Hundreds of people again watching. We really appreciate your viewership, everyone watching on YouTube or on X. Real quick, for Tom sort of likes the 11 Pipsy underneath. There you go. Again, people are trying to.
I like it.
Michael Austin says that she can't hang with Bradsell and Cogburn. You might be right, Michael. He's talking about Star Mystery in the Breeders' Cup. I mean, that's going to be a tough race. Obviously, Raymond Cromley won and mentioned the 59 in two fists. I think that's what Cogburn when he won the race and won the world record at Saratoga. Let's go to last race speed as we wrap up the late pick 5 for today, Sunday. It is not that race. It is race 9. $40,000 claimers, hard knockers. There's a bunch of scratches. They're going 6 furlongs. The 1, 2, 5, and 8 are out. So it's only going to be a field of 7, Pete. Again,
Yeah.
1, 2, 5, and 8 are out of the last race. Again, $40,000 claimers. Let's go ahead and take a look at our picks right now. I'm going, well, we don't have to worry about these scratches. I'm going 4-3-7. You're going 3-7-4. How about that? I like the fact you got the 3. I think Chat a lot is going to be tough. The number 4, 3-1 for Maker and Size. Forget about that 3-1P with these scratches. This horse is going to be 7-5, I would say. Diamond Heist and Ontario Bred is a bit interesting. Why don't you talk about your top choice? 8-1 for Hara, who I think won on Surface to Air, I believe,
Surface to
yesterday,
air. That
right?
that combination won on Surface to Air yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting 8-1 now, but an interesting choice you have on top. I have this one second.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking at at the top of the list there. You have your A's, B's, C's, and tosses, and after the scratches, I have 3 A's left and 4 tosses, and nothing in between. So this is
Wow.
with the scratches. This one turned out funny. Yeah, so with Diamond Heist, again the combination of Trainer Jock won a big race yesterday. This one moving up in class. I mean, obviously the class jump here, but I think it's been in great form, and it's been since the trainer switch. So I like when there's a little bit of clue as to why maybe we have a change in form, and so you get the trainer switch. Now this horse is really running. Again, it hasn't been the greatest of companies, and the odds, 16-1 in the last one, an optional claimer 20, but you get the lifetime buyer top, lifetime time form top. I like the fact that the one question I have, so this horse looks tactical. In the last 2 has worked out some pretty nice trips. They were going a little bit slower in that race. I like to see here if he can still get that similar trip, if they go a little bit faster than he's used to up front, or if that causes him to be a little further back, if he can be up close. Again, I kind of like him in that position. So I just think there's a lot to like here. Again, if you're talking about the 4, Chat a lot, who you have on top, so you can talk about, the horse hasn't won a race since March of 22. So if I'm looking at a favorite who, like you said, might be bet down pretty significantly, if I'm looking at a favorite who hasn't won a race in 2+ years, I'll take the shot against a favorite like that and go price shopping a bit.
I just feel like Chat a lot is the class, the field, Flying Peace Fables.
Logical favorite. I don't want to make it seem
Yeah.
like no, but I'm just saying it's not like this horse likes to win. So if you're looking
No
to beat
doubt.
a favorite, that is something that you like to see. So if we can run down a horse, then let's give it a shot.
I think the whole key is how much will Correa be aggressive with the 6, because the 6 is quick. I'm not sure if you're Saez, obviously you're going to send hard. I don't know if the 4 is capable of rating. The first 5 steps of this race are huge, because if the 4 outbreaks the 6, I think the 4 is gone. If the 4 has to rush up, on the inside, and the 6 is there also, who knows? And I'll tell you what I like about the 3 a lot more now. I don't think the 3 is going to be that close, but I didn't like the fact that the 3 had the 4 breaking right to his outside with horses inside of the 3. Now that the 3 gets the rail, Pete, though, he can just break and sort of sit more. I mean, he's not going to be worried about being in between horses. I think it's a little bit of an angle that's underrated. The 3's going to have to run very well, though, to beat the 4, at least in my opinion. But I suppose it's not impossible. I've got Nighttime, who should get a really nice trip, as runs at big numbers also. So again, Pete, if you're trying to beat chat a lot here, which you obviously are, I think the 3 and 7 are very logical, and you might get some okay prices. I think chat a lot's going to be 7-5, despite the fact that he has not won in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to put Chat a lot on the ticket if you're playing this pick 5. I can't, especially when you have a horse who looks like the class a little bit and has potentially a pace advantage if they do let that horse get out. So you hate losing to one of those. So I'm not going to look at it, but I do like Nighttime as well. I think that horse is quality. Came out of lost the prevalence and surveillance, who actually came back and ran well in stakes races right after that. So that one's sneaky, just coming off a bit of a layoff. But yeah, I think, hey, you don't want to close it out with a chalk. You want to close the pick 5 out with a little bit of a price, right? So we can make this thing pay for us and for everyone else.
I agree. Let's go and look at our best bets. Pete is actually, now this is not part of the late pick 5, but I decided not to tell Pete, hey, we don't want that one. That's all good because Pete did the power picks for the entire day today.
Oh,
so.
did I give you one outside? I don't even.
It's all good. Let the source win at 10-1 and make everyone's day. The race 3, he likes the 4, which I'm gonna have to go back and look at.
It's Royal Spa. Yes.
Okay, we're not gonna take a look at the PPs or anything, but race 3, like you just said,
it's a 5-horse field.
A 5-horse field, and you got Royal Spa at 6-1 morning line. Actually, it's gonna be a 4-horse field.
It's 4, yeah.
3 is out. I don't know if that would change anything.
It wouldn't change the winner because I didn't like the 3. But I wanted the 3 in there because I thought the 3 would take a bunch of money. It's a Speedy Traveler. I thought that horse would take a bunch of money, and that would allow my horse to stay at around that 5-6 to win. Hey, Katie likes that. Katie likes that pick. So as long as Katie's on board, then all's well in the world.
Keeneland, touchdown number 2, Pete.
You know what's funny? I almost picked him up this week because I was like, he's going to start coming around. And I have 3 fantasy teams. I didn't touch him in any of them. And from my old guy there, and now everybody's going to pick him up. So,
how about 4 touchdown passes for the Rook? Having a day.
Caleb's looking great, man.
By the way, race 3 is optional claiming. How about $175,000 on the optional claiming? I mean,
it's decent, right?
If you're going to buy a horse for $175, I mean, wow, they better be pretty damn good. Anyway, and then Dutch Exacta 1-6 in race 8. So that is going to be Don't Look Back at All with Star of Mystery.
And you're
actually going to go the other way just in case. I like it.
Yeah, you never know. Again, like you said, she does have the rail. I mean, I trust Pratt working out a trip, but she does have the rail if something happens and she gets a little stuck behind, or like you said, maybe she's not fully cranked. If they plan on bringing her back, I think the Don't Look Back at All can get a nice trip and be at a semi-decent price.
I think so. And then my best bet, which I had a wrong name on there. Hold on 1 second. And now I got to spell my name correctly. Bear with me, everyone. We'll get it up there eventually. There we go. Save that. There we go. I'm going to go. Actually, I think it's is race 8. Do I have that?
That doesn't seem like because you're throwing Star of Mystery out then.
No, it's race 6. Sorry about that.
I assume you're not going to do a tri-key box with no Star of Mystery. That probably wouldn't
race
make a lot
6.
of
It's that 9, that second time starter, the mile. Queen Regent.
Yep.
The 1.5-mile turf race. I'm going to key box. So that means actually it should be an exacta. Boy, I'm just screwing this up all over the place. This is not what I wanted.
The Bears are in London. He doesn't know what's going on.
I'm all distracted
today.
I wanted actually an exacta is what I wanted. I don't know what I was thinking here. There we go. I'm going to put the 9 on top only, Pete, with 3, 5, 10 underneath, including.
Oh, you're going cold. Okay.
Cold. Yep. 9 with 3, 5, 10, including the 5, the team conversation, a little bit of a price there. I might even play that one in reverse tri-key in second and third, but I think the 9's going to be tough in race 6. Pete, final thoughts on a beautiful, I guess, windy day at Keeneland. We'll see if that makes a difference or not. Breeders' Cup in 3 weeks. We got Power Pick tip sheet information coming up next week for the Breeders' Cup, which Pete and I are going to discuss very quickly off air after the show. But anything else you want to? How was the movie yesterday, Pete?
It was good. It's super gory. It's very, very, very gory. Fun.
Shocking.
Makes you laugh. Yes, it is. It was fun. Yeah, it was definitely entertaining. If you're into that stuff, definitely go check it out. Terrifier 3 is what we're talking about.
Terrifier 3. Wow.
Yes,
all right.
Yes.
Well, we'll end with James loving my surfboard logo there. Appreciate that. James, and we appreciate everyone watching today, Pete. Saratoga Day for Sunday, August 13th.
Keeneland today, Howard.
What did I
Keeneland
say,
today.
Saratoga?
You said Saratoga. No, Saratoga.
I need
That's
to change
a drink
this water
of
to an
something.
alcohol.
Yes,
I need a mimosa. I think.
Yes, you need to start drinking.
I have
man.
Saratoga on the brain with Saratoga spring water. Well, good luck at Saratoga next year, but good luck at Keeneland specifically today. For my co-host, Pete Visco, this is your confused host, Howard Kravitz. Not an episode number, just Keeneland today for Sunday, October 13th. Crush your bets at Keeneland in beautiful Lexington, Kentucky. Take care, everyone. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.